Hi. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Ellie with Dreamers Together, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Advance Parole, and we have Daniela Ortiz here as a guest. She's going to be sharing her experience. She's of Colombian nationality, and she's traveled to Denmark, and she's going to be telling us a little bit more about her upcoming trips. Um, let's give it a few minutes, Daniela, just so we can have some viewers, and then we'll go ahead and start. Because if we start now, they'll come back in and they'll ask
Okay.
again. They'll ask again the questions. Um, okay, there it is. It's picking up some viewers. So yeah, so if you want to go ahead and start introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself, Daniela.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Daniela. I'm Colombian. I moved to the United States when I was 10 years old with my family, my parents, and my little brother. And then I got DACA when it first came out. But my brother, he was two when we came here. And then when it came to time for him to get DACA, like Trump shut it down. And then they opened it for like a small period and we just put in his papers. So then he was able to get it as well. So yeah, so we've been very fortunate with that. And because of DACA, we're able to now apply for AP and travel. And so we're so thankful. So I'm very excited to share how I was able to complete my application and what sort of documentation I provided to USCIS so that I would get approved and be able to travel. And so, yeah, I traveled to Denmark on May and into June last year, or actually this year, we're still in 2022. And then I just applied again to go for multiple entries to go to both Colombia, which is where I was born, and then also to go to Italy and Denmark in May. So, yeah, I'll explain how my application was approved. So, I'm very happy. And then I'll share what I provided for that as well.
Um, you said you went in May. When did you submit your application, Daniela?
For Denmark, the first trip, I submitted it in February.
Wow, that was really fast.
Yeah, I got approved in exactly like 90 days. It was so fast.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that was whenever they went back and they were like speedy on them and approving them. And, they've kind
exactly.
of backed down a little bit, but we're hoping they pick it right back up again after the
Me
new year.
too. I remember when I applied, I actually applied because I wanted July dates because my husband's grandfather, he was just having like a big birthday and he has multiple sclerosis. So then we wanted to like go to his 80th birthday. And so I applied to hopefully get dates in July, but I didn't know that I could get multiple entries or let alone apply for 1 year. So I only applied for one entry in 30 days just to see what I would get. So I wasn't very ambitious, but then the application was processed not in the 7 months, which was like the time period in February, but 3 months, and that's how I got approved. I think it was May 14, and they gave me 3 months, and I only applied for 1 month, so that was nice. Yeah.
Which you said it was your husband's grandfather?
Yeah, so his grandfather on his dad's side, he has multiple sclerosis. And then when I met my husband and his family, I explained to them like my situation with DACA, which I know it's like something that a lot of us fear. I feel like I grew up with a lot of fear of telling anyone what it was. And it wasn't until I met my husband that I even started telling people. Like I remember I even met in college a friend who had DACA, and I refused to tell them because I thought I was the only one. And then she told me, I think I would tell people that I had like, that I was a resident because I was so afraid of letting the secret out. I don't know. And putting my parents like at risk of deportation for some reason. So then, yeah, I just wouldn't share with anyone. And then my friend told me that she had DACA, and then I was like, actually, I have it too. So Yeah. So then I explained to his parents what I had, what DACA was, and his dad has worked for like government jobs. So then he was so understanding, and they looked into it. And then when it came to time of like me applying for AP, they were very nice, and his grandparents were too at helping me get like those documents. So I think like just being transparent if you have like family members and stuff, and really explaining to them, and like even having them like look up and learn about it, and see like the statistics in this group that most of us have been able to come back, and there's no risk, that helps in getting your documentation. And so the documents that were provided to me were a letter from his doctor explaining what multiple sclerosis was and how old he was, his name, and basically what it does to him, like the condition of multiple sclerosis. And then they also provided me with a letter from his therapist explaining how much he could walk. With that condition that he has right now and how it might evolve. And then the letters had the doctor's name, a phone number, the address. And then from there, we were able to get them translated, and then the translator notarized them. I didn't request that, but I think that helped a lot. And I think that now I've seen some people getting their applications sent back, or RFEs requesting that like notarization, like or like translation stamp per page. So I think that's important, because I remember when I received the translations from the translator that I used, and they were all notarized. I was like, why is he like giving me all these papers, and why is it repeating so much per page? Like, that's so annoying. And then I realized later that that was very important. So if you can do that, definitely look out for that.
Yes, what they need to be is certified. Certified
Yes.
and
Hmm.
certified, that's the certification. And they were in the Danish language.
Yeah, all of the papers from his parents and his grandfather were all in Danish. And so then, yeah, we had to get a translator here to do it in English. So, yeah.
Oh, I think that's really interesting on because we're more familiarized with Spanish, English. Portuguese because we have Ugo from Brazil.
Mhm.
But this one is a new one for us.
Yeah, yeah, Danish. And I feel like for them, like most of the Danish community, I live in New York, by the way. So most of the Danish community here has had crazy experiences getting visas. So then like it's like nicer to like tell them about DACA actually, because they can kind of relate, even though they have an easier process than we do, but they also have hardships as well, which I don't
Yeah.
know. I just wouldn't expect, because just some countries have it easier than us. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it correlates. At the end of the day, it correlates like our lives correlate, and we can identify with other
Hmm.
cultures because of the immigration process that most of us have to go through.
Exactly. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
it.
so go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna say anything important.
I was gonna say, yeah, so whenever you got all your paperwork ready, did you have to send like your marriage certificate to prove
I did.
that that was your husband's family?
It's so funny because we got married on February like 14, which was so cheesy. So we just went to like town hall, we made an appointment, and we eloped just for the sake of being able to travel to Denmark. So then once we got our marriage certificate, as soon as we got it, we like signed all the paperwork for AP and scanned it and sent it all together. And so then let me share. So with the doctor letters that I provided to USCIS, I also added the birth certificate of my husband, his dad's birth certificate, as well as his grandfather's birth certificate. And then what I did was I highlighted everyone's name, so that, and then I would write like, make arrows like, this is like in connection to this, like this is like like I would write, this is the grandfather, and then this is the dad, and then this is my husband. So then I don't know, like I just feel like some people need more pointers. um, yeah, so I just put that on the application, and all of those were translated and certified by the translator as well. Yeah.
Um, Whenever you did AP the first time, did you submit your brothers as well, or your brother didn't apply?
No, I didn't, because I wanted to try it first and make sure that it was safe. Because I don't know, for me, like I have a career, so I was like, I don't have anything to lose. Whereas my brother, he's in university right now, so yeah, I just wanted everything to
Wow,
be
yeah, that's totally
really
understandable.
yeah. Yeah. But he
Um,
applied, so but we'll get into that.
he's applied now, right? So you guys, you got the approval and you said they only approved, you asked for only 1 month and they ended up approving you for 3 months, 90 days.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Which was a big surprise. And then I realized that I could have applied. I saw Vanessa's post and she was like, everyone apply for a year. Like, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I don't know why the first time I was like, I can't put 365 days down. Like they're going to reject me. They're gonna think I'm too ambitious. So then once I saw that, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it and then they can figure it out. Like, give me whatever. I'll take anything, you know? Yeah. So that
I
was the
think that a lot of us think that if the more we ask for, the less they're going to give us. But no, at the end of the day, Vanessa started recommending everybody like ask for 1 year multiple entries, and if they don't think you deserve or that you don't need 1 year, they'll give you 6 months, 8 months. And
yeah,
we've seen a lot of people get multiple months with multiple entries.
yeah, totally. So, and this time I was approved. So I applied again for AP in September 26th. I submitted my application and it was just approved on December 5th. So, and I applied to go to Colombia and go to Denmark, multiple entries for a year. And I received 6 months. So not a year, but it's okay. I'll take it. I'll take anything. And yeah, so I'm just so excited because, and that was pretty fast. That came in like 70 days or something. Um, yeah, so very
What
lucky.
um what documentation did you include this time with the second AP?
Okay, so I requested for my grandfather-in-law to provide me with new documents of the same thing, just like, and then he said that he couldn't really upgrade it because they can only do these exams every so often. But then the only thing that he could do was ask the doctor for like to update the date on it. So then they did that. It was the same document with a new date and just like the same signature. And then I got everything translated by the same translator, certified, provided again all the same things like the birth certificates, the marriage certificate, and then for my grandfather to go to Colombia, I asked them for the same thing. It took like 6 months to get it from my parents. Oh no, from my aunt and my grandfather because it's a pain in the butt to get stuff from doctors in Colombia for some reason. It just looks like so weird compared to doctor's letters here. So I don't know. It just took a while. But once I finally got it, I like got it all translated. I also provided to USCIS the birth certificate of my grandfather and my mom and me to show how the relationship. And then, so the first time it was very funny because I didn't provide a cover letter, but then this time around I did. I provided like a pretty elaborate one, I would say, just stating why I wanted to go to Denmark, why I wanted to go to Colombia, which was like because I have ill grandfather-in-law and an ill grandfather, and then I explained a little bit about their conditions and why I want to go, which is like to help my grandmother and to visit my grandfather-in-law because they're old and fragile. Yeah. And the same thing for my brother. So I also did my brother's application, and I only submitted for Colombia because he's not married. So then, so he can't go to Europe with me, unfortunately. So then I only applied for Colombia. So I've seen a lot of people who have siblings. They send everything in one package, and they both tend to get approved at once, which I thought that same thing would happen with us, sending it in the same form. I mean, same folder. But then for some reason, my application was approved, and his still hasn't been approved. And I tried to expedite both applications at the same times. And I don't know if it's because I had like the extra evidence for Denmark that he didn't, but my application was processed faster. And yeah. So yeah, I'm just hoping that he gets approved soon. And then whenever he gets approved, I'm still going to go with him again because I have multiple entries.
So with multiple entries, a lot of people ask us how many times can they travel? Is there a limit? There's not really a limit to how many
Mhm.
times you can travel with multiple entries. As long as you travel within the approved dates, it's gonna be fine. Except I know that you're gonna fly in because you're from Colombia, but if people are from Mexico and they have trouble with the officer at the border when they drive in or walk through, just go to a different point of entry. Those officers are not very familiarized with it, but I know
Yeah.
that whenever you fly by, which airport did you come in through the first time?
Newark in New Jersey. And that was so easy. And even checking in Denmark was super smooth. Like I went up to the officer with my husband, and I went there like I think 4 hours before because I was so scared. I was like, they're not gonna know what this paper is. Like they're not gonna let me on the board the plane. So then I was like, the officer just asked for my passport, so I gave it to him, and my husband did too. And then he was like, "Can you give me your green card?" And I was like, "I don't have a green card, but here's my AP." And then he just put it in the computer. And I actually think that he even called his colleague that was new to kind of like teach him how to like put it on, like input it, and it was super fast. Like I don't even know why I went there 4 hours before, but I recommend you do, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 hours is a good time. We say three
Mhm,
hours because sometimes, like you said, you get somebody that's new or is training or
mhm.
isn't just familiarized with the AP paper, and then you have to wait. We've seen people where the person checking in has to call immigration to make sure, or somebody to make sure that that paper is legit.
Exactly. And on the way in, I think I went to the little room for 5 minutes. Yeah, and that was pretty fast. So that was nice because I was scared, and no one asked me any questions either. So yeah.
Did you have to get a visa or some kind of permit in order to be able to travel from to Denmark, being from Colombia?
No, in Colombia, I think we have access to the EU, so we don't need a visa. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, I would definitely say like check your visa, check what your country allows you, which countries you're allowed to access, depending on where you're from in advance. Because I think around the same time you apply for AP or before that you should like get that process going, because I mean visas like sometimes they take up to like a year to get or even longer than that. So yeah,
Wow, I did not know that it takes that long. But
it's yeah, it's crazy. It just depends like where you're going to. But yeah, no, I was very lucky with my passport. That's the only thing I needed. Hmm.
you were mentioning to me before we started recording, you're going to be going to Colombia, Denmark, and which was the other place that you're planning on going?
So I'm going to Italy and I'm so excited. So my friends, they're getting married in Italy. So that's where like the idea started. And then I think it was actually like last month, because at first I was like, okay, our friends invited us to this wedding in Italy. But then I was like, I'm going to have to go to Denmark, then fly from Denmark to Italy, drive to Italy. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I'm not missing out on this wedding because it's in the most beautiful place. So then I guess we'll go to Denmark, drive through to Italy because Hugo explained to me that if you visit any country within the Schengen zone once you're in Europe, it's fine. Like you're not really gonna get anything stamped, and if you do, I think it's still fine. Like no one really cares. Um, so then yeah, so then I was like, okay, so this is totally possible, even though I don't really have any excuses to go to Italy. But then last month we found out that my father-in-law is actually going to be living in Italy for 6 months. So then it's very exciting because initially we were actually going to go to Italy and then travel, do like a road trip from Italy to south of France. And then, so now because my father-in-law is staying in Italy, we're just going to do like a full-on Italian road trip. So I'm so excited because that's my dream country to visit.
How long are you going to be gone for this time?
So to Italy, I actually, because vacation days in the US are terrible. Like, unfortunately, I only have 10 days off. I'm trying to like roll over my vacation days from this year. So then I'll have 15, and I'm going to beg my boss for more vacation days during my review. So then for this Italian trip, I'm only going for, I think, 10 days. Yeah. Like, actually, maybe like, I don't know, 14, 15 days, but 10 weekdays, yeah, that I'm allowed.
Anything is good, right? Because it was
Exactly.
like I was saying, we grew up with the mentality of we're never traveling anywhere, like we're not meeting anything. We can't even go back home. And now we Advanced Pro opens up these other opportunities. You have family, so your family is in that country. You're gonna go see them, and so I mean, it opens, a whole
I
different level of
know.
opportunities.
It's crazy because before I would like travel within here, not too much. Like I would maybe do like one trip like once a year. And I was like, okay, that was enough. Like that was risky. That was high risk travel, traveling within the United States. But no, I think like ever since I was able to leave once, it just opened up my mind. I'm like, oh my God, like I don't have any reason to like travel here. Like I just want to travel everywhere else. I feel like I've always been like really interested in everywhere else in the world. I always tell my friends that I feel like I was born in the wrong continent and then I moved to the wrong continent because I always just loved Europe so much since I was little. Like I remember when we landed in the US, I was like, I thought we were moving to Europe and then now we're in the US. Like, why are we here? I said that to my mom. So then as soon as I realized that I could go to Europe, I'm like so excited to go there. I love it there. I think it's so beautiful. Yeah, it like opens up your mind.
It does, it really does. And then, um, you have not been to Colombia yet, so that's gonna be exciting as well.
It's
After how many years?
I feel like that. Okay, so I haven't been to Colombia. I moved here when I was 10, and I haven't been to Colombia since I was 10. And so it's been 18 years, and I haven't been back because like I said, it took so long to get those papers from my family, from the doctor. And every time they would get me a paper, I think it was also a little bit my fault because I would look at it and I just thought it wasn't good enough, like whatever the doctors were providing, because it was very electronic. Like there wasn't like a proper signature. There wasn't like a phone number that you could contact because they just like won't give it to you. And then it took a lot of effort to get my parents to see a doctor that would actually provide like a valid legal signature. Yeah. So then like by the time I got it, it was like September and I had been asking for it for like a year and a half. But now I'm so happy because I have the best memories of growing up in Colombia. So I'm very excited to go back. but I'm very sad that I can't go with my brother. But I feel like he just doesn't have as many good memories as I do. But I had like, I don't know, like sometimes I also ask my parents, I'm like, why the hell did we move here? Like, I know, like, yeah, we got great education, but my parents have worked so hard. So then sometimes I'm like, it wasn't worth it. And then it is worth it, obviously. Like, the education here is so good. I don't know where I would have been in Colombia. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, we love to hear your story because who would have known being from Colombia, living in the United States, and then we're gonna I say we because this is a
Mhm.
big DACA community,
Yes, it
and when
is.
one person travels, it opens the doors and the perspective to other people that they can travel as well. So we're going to Denmark, or we've been to Denmark. We're going back to Denmark, and then we're going to Italy.
Yes, 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 exactly. We're going everywhere. And then my brother, he's also going to apply this next winter, 2023, to study abroad in London, hopefully. So I'll post his story or whatever, like whenever that happens, because I'm so excited for him to get to go to anywhere else. you know? I don't know if it's because we have like had restrictions of being able to travel that we're like so hungry to do it. But yeah, it's just so exciting to have that
You
opportunity.
know, definitely, it's exciting and it's valid. We've only traveled in the United States, and then all of a sudden we can go anywhere we really can and apply for, and we're gonna do it. So
Mhm.
yeah, we're really excited about hearing your story. I know you're gonna be posting pictures whenever you go to Colombia and Italy and your brothers.
Sure. Yeah, I will
Mm.
definitely post a lot of pictures. And I'm so
And
excited.
also, do you have a date? Did you say you have a date for the Italy trip yet?
I do. I'm going on May 19th, I believe. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, okay. So it's gonna be pretty. Well, it's a different weather, but anything there's gonna be pretty. So I hope you enjoyed all these trips.
Yes.
And yeah, post some pictures so we can see them. And I know a lot of people once they watch this video, they're probably at work or lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Once they'll watch it, they'll be asking, questions, follow-up questions about applying through a family member
Mm-hmm.
in another country. So yeah, we have any more questions, we can also follow up with another live after you come back.
Totally. I also would love to like answer anything like if you DM under the chat. I'll answer any questions and I can also like help with the application or like giving examples of kind of what I submitted.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We love it, and I'll keep in touch with you, and we can work on that. If anybody wants some more information, they can let us know here in the comment section. I know we have a couple of questions.
Hmm.
Um, like example, Sandra, she says, "Wow, thanks for the info. I could have traveled with my mother when my mother-in-law was alive. Or do you guys think we can apply to visit the grave? Are you familiar with the graves visits?"
I'm not really like, yeah, no, I'm not really familiar with the grave, but I'm sure, like, I think if you follow the same process, because again, like, I traveled to see my in-laws before I was able to see my own family. So I think, like, if you follow the same process that you would as visiting your own family, then I think you should be able to. Um,
Yes, you can, as long as the thing we say is as long as the passing of the family member hasn't been over 2 years, because after 2 years, immigration or USCIS doesn't consider it humanitarian nor urgent. So if it's before 2 years, the 2 year anniversary, you can definitely apply.
yes, definitely do it.
Yeah, and then the other questions we can answer them. I'll answer them once we get off the live because they really don't pertain
Mhm.
to traveling with your family members in a different country. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to say thank you, Daniela, and good luck on your next travels, and we'll keep in touch.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. I don't know how I would have had the courage to submit this application if it wasn't for everyone in this group and everyone's support. It's like the best thing that's ever existed, this group.
Thank you so much. And I know with your live, new people will be like, oh my gosh, I can travel. Let me do it. So
Yes,
thank you
yes,
also for sharing your
travel.
experience.
Travel everywhere, everyone.
Hey, thank you, Daniela. I'm in the broadcast.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.